Okay, I assume you've read and worked the problems. Let's jump in. Okay, so part A should be an easy 2-pointers because they give you the derivative, they give you the function. They want to know an x equals 4, a tangent line. So part A, let's go ahead and plug in and find f of 4. Just plugging in 4 right there. So I get 1 over, k is 3 by the way. 1 over, let's see, 16 minus 4 times 3, so 1/4. Okay, so that's my y value. I want f prime of 4. That'll give me my slope. So let's plug that in. I'll get 3 minus 2 times 4 is 8. All over 16 minus 12 squared. So I'll get negative 5. 4 squared is 16. So there's my slope. So I have y minus 1/4 equals negative 5/16 x minus 4. Now remember, don't distribute that or anything. Just get your y by itself. Because you do not need to clean up. You just need to get y by itself. Easy 2 points right there. One for the slope, one for the equation. Okay, part B. See, this time k is 4. Okay, determine whether f has a relative min, max, or neither at x equals 2. Well, I need to plug in x is 2 into my derivative. Okay, because we know if the derivative is 0, we have a min or a max. So that'll narrow down the neither part. Okay, could be a saddle, I guess. So let's go ahead and do part B. So f prime of negative 1, 2x minus 4 over x squared minus 4x squared. So I just plugged in my k, all I did there. Okay, so I plugged in my k, and I took out a negative 1. Doesn't really play a huge role in there because I know that I want to plug in 2 for my x. I could have plugged them in at the same time, but I will get 0, which tells me it's a min, max, or saddle. So I'm going to do a number line. X is 2. So pick x is 1. Plug it in. That's why I didn't plug in both at the same time. You see now I did one at a time. Plug in 1. Okay, so let's see. I'll get a positive. Plug in 3. I'll get a negative. Okay, now remember, this is not justification, and it does say justify your answer. So x equals 2 is a max because f prime changes, sorry, my pen's messed up, from positive to negative. Boom. And that was worth 2 points as well. Okay, part C. Find the value of k for which f has a critical point. Remember, critical points are where the derivative equals 0 or does not exist. So here's my derivative. Well, if the derivative equals 0, k minus 2x equals 0. Okay, and it's saying x is negative 5. So I have k, plug in negative 5 plus 10 equals 0. So k equals negative 10. All right, now you know the bottom's not going to be 0. We have a squared there. So we're not going to have a negative or anything. That's just 1 point. That's it. Okay, part D. K is 6. Find the partial fraction. Oh, this was easy at 1 point, but it's been a while. So remember that factors x and x minus 6. That's my integral that I'm working with. I'm going to split that up to be a over x dx plus the integral of b over x minus 6 dx, common denominator. A times x minus 6 plus bx has to equal 1, right? Our numerator. Okay, pick your zeros. So if x is 6, that implies, oops, that's a 6. If x is 6, that implies 6b equals 1. If x is 0, that implies negative 6a is 1. So a is negative 1/6. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. And notice, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'll get to it in a second. We're not going to clean up, basically, is the idea. So I have negative 1/6, the integral of a over, oh, excuse me. I pulled out my a, so I'll just leave it a 1. Plus 1/6 integral, sorry, my 6 are messing up when I write them. Okay, so I end up getting negative 1/6 natural log, don't forget that absolute value. Okay, plus 1/6 natural log, sorry, my 6's aren't working. X minus 6 plus C. Notice I am not cleaning it up. Remember the AP test, you do not need to simplify. And that was worth 4 points. So I think that's a pretty easy 4 pointers if you remember partial fraction decomposition.